Hi, this is Finance and Investing Just Joey style, and I usually talk about investing a lot here because that's where my passion is, and I want to help people grow. So I'm kind of like your growth guy. But let's tone it down for a second and come down to some like lower level things, like your budget, your spending plan. It's very important to have one of those together. So your short-term finances are extremely important because you can't build your wealth, you can't grow your money if you don't have any. Or if you have a very terrible plan to what you do with your money. So a lot of people get their paycheck and then just spend it until it's gone. Or maybe they put a little bit back here, put some over there. But mostly it's just, I got paid, I have this much money to do stuff. You do stuff until you don't have any money anymore, and then you struggle until you get paid again. That's a rough way to live. So it's better to have a bit of a plan. You got to have all your bills. So it's very important to understand how much money you're spending on your bills. Whatever your bills are, electric bill, insurances, all your utilities, pets, kids, food, soccer games, entertainment, all of it. Everything costs money. So just get a good idea of what you have and figure out. It doesn't have to be 100% accurate, but it's got to be pretty close to how much money you're spending. Because if you don't know where your money's going, you don't know where your money's going. And when you sit down and actually see where your money's going, you might get a little bit shocked. Some people get a little embarrassed. Holy cow, I just spent $500 a month for the last year on alcohol, or I'm spending how much on cigarettes, or we spent how much on food and clothes last month. Like, you can get discouraged on how much money you're spending, but the thing is it's your budget, it's your life, it's your choice. So if there's things that you're spending money on that aren't giving you a lot of joy or they're not improving your life, and this is a great thing to do. When you sit down, you actually get an idea of where your money's actually going so you can change something for you, for the better, not because I want you to, but because you want to. I can help give you the principles and the steps and the better places to put your money. But you've got to figure out what's important to you in your life because they're your personal finances. So that's why it's difficult sometimes to help people with their money because it's emotional and they don't necessarily, people use it every day, so they think they understand money. But a lot of people don't really know how it works or the best places to put it. A lot of people I know have one bank account, maybe two. It's like, geez, how do you know if your money, where your money's supposed to actually go? It's unorganized. If it's all in one big ball, it's unorganized. You don't know how much money's got to go to school clothes. You don't know how much money's got to go to food. You don't know how much you're spending on entertainment every year or month. So if you don't know that, you're just winging it. And it's almost impossible to build up wealth like that. It's almost impossible to get out of a paycheck to paycheck mindset and lifestyle. So you got to be a little bit more conscious about what you're spending and why and where. And if those things are even making you happy, because a lot of people buy a bunch of stuff that don't even make them happy. That sounds kind of stupid. We've all been there. We're all human. We're not perfect. So, am I perfect? No. I've made many mistakes, and that's why I help teach people because I teach people the mistakes that I've made. So, but I've been an expert budgeter for a very long time. Um, but yeah, I think it's very important that you have somebody in your life that can teach you about finances that's going to be on your side, like a non biased thing. Like, that's kind of what I do. But you need to find somebody. You don't have to go with just me. You need to find somebody that's going to help you understand how to get your life at a better place for your standards. That's it. Not everybody's standards are the same. Like, I want everybody to be as wealthy as they possibly can be, but there's some people that don't have that full goal. But having more money generally gives you a little bit of a better life in most places. But if you want to grow, we can't grow your money until your money's under control. We can't grow your money until your lifestyle choices are a little bit more, standard. That way you're not like having a high high and a low low. You got a little bit more stability. So I can give you tips and tricks and stuff like that on how to be better with your money. I started a community, and it's kind of like your financial buddy, because everybody needs somebody to go to ask questions to. Hey, I just lost my job. I just got a new promotion. I'm thinking about getting this loan. Nobody has anybody to ask questions to, or you're asking your friend who sucks with money too, and that's a bad idea. You're getting advice from somebody that doesn't know what they're doing with money. So people give you advice all the time, but you got to be careful who you're getting advice from. Now, I think I'm going to start to ramble a little bit in this video. But anyhow, this is more, you need to be a little bit more conscious about where your money's going, why it's going there, and what you're spending it on. That way you can have more of the things that you want in life and less of the things that you don't. So this is Finance and Investing Just Joey style. That's just a quick, get yourself out there, start thinking about why you're spending money in the places that you are, where your money's going, and is it important to you? Because if you're spending a great deal of your paycheck on things that aren't important to you, that aren't improving your life, well, then we probably pretty much found why you're not happy. I actually did this with a guy at work. We were sitting in the break room, and he'd never done a budget before, and we just started breaking down a little bit on how much he spent on a couple of things based upon his pay. And he was okay talking about it. And we discovered that he spent 90% of his paycheck on 3 things: housing, food, and cigarettes. That was it. 90% of his paycheck was for housing, food, and cigarettes. He couldn't do anything else with life other than live in a house, eat food, and smoke cigarettes, because his budget sucked. And, you know, he wasn't exactly thrilled with where he was in life. So he's actually gone out there. He's got a different job. He's bettered himself. I haven't talked to him in a little while, but he's got a little bit better idea on how to budget and what to do, because he'd never even done that before. I'm pretty sure, if I can remember correctly, it was somewhere between 20 to 25% of his entire paycheck that he was spending on cigarettes. And he was like, holy cow. He's like, no wonder I don't have any freaking money. He didn't even know how much money he was spending on it. So I think there's a lot of people out there in the world that just don't even know where their money's going. So that's where you got to start. All right, this is Finance and Investing Just Joey style. I'll be throwing out some more videos later. All right, happy Saturday.